Hey guys, SickMotion here with the patch 7.4 notes. I did again some sound tinkering since my last patch note video, so it might be a little off from the other videos. Hopefully not too much. I'll have to actually look into that for the purpose of this. But anyway, let's get in here. It's patch 7.4. First change here is Cho'Gath. They changed a little bit about him. His fee stack can now it can go infinite to an extent. Um, you only can get 5 stacks off of minions and monsters, but they don't have to be the first 5. Say you've got 1 stack off minions and monsters, you ate your lane opponent 3 times, now you have 4. You get a 5th off minions and monsters, you have 5. But you've only gotten 2 of those off minions and monsters, then you're actually able to get 3 more. It remembers how many were off the minions and monsters, so it's not requiring you to get those first couple off minions and monsters just because it's more reliable, and you don't feel like you're screwed if you ended up getting a couple champion kills, but now you can't stack it up with the minions anymore. What it ends up doing, they change the bonus health per stack down. They change the bonus health at 6 stacks down, but you can continue stacking afterwards if you're getting stacks off of enemy champions. You reach your maximum size and bonus attack range at 10 stacks, but you'll keep getting extra health, 140. Basically every time you eat someone, you're getting a ruby crystal once you're level 16, minus 10 health. And the ratio of the damage on his feast it's down to 0.5 ability power, but it gives 10% bonus health as your damage as well. And since it's giving you giving you health by getting the stacks, you're getting damage by getting the stacks off, which I think is a really cool idea. I think that's just well done with how that goes. And your maximum attack range is now higher, but you have to work harder to get to it, obviously. So it's cool. I think it's a really cool idea, and the fact that he can just keep getting bigger and bigger, it's pretty awesome. Bard buffs here. The bonus movement speed is now 24 from the first chime, and then 14 for each one after that. So 6% more from the first one, 2% more for each other one. Basically, your max bonus when you're 5 chimes stacked is now 80% rather than 66. So he can kind of move around a little quicker, get more chimes faster, roam around faster. Sorry, I'm like falling asleep here. Cassiopeia. Basically, there's a bug fix. As far as I can tell after reading through this, it's basically when you flash ult, your ult doesn't go in the right direction visually, but I don't think it's talking about flash ulting and your ult going in the wrong direction, although it might have been. But from what I hear, it sounds like it's visually, like sometimes I've had it before where you'll flash ult on Cassio, it'll look like you're ulting in a random direction or backwards or something, but your ult will actually be going up where you meant it to be, which is just kind of deceptive for everyone involved. So it's a good bug fix. It's a bug fix that's big enough that it made it into this section rather than just a bug fix section, I guess. Or maybe it's just because she had a little visual update. Her tail now moves better, I guess. Corki's missile damage is down. His base missile damage is down. His big one damage is relatively the same. His AP ratio on his normal missiles is down. His attack damage ratio is down. The base damage is down. Like I said, the big one's a little bit unchanged for the most part. Corki's just, I don't know, he's really annoying to deal with, and you keep getting hit by those rockets that just feel like they're never ending and they don't cost mana, is what they feel like. So a little bit of tone down there. Jhin, the slow on his ult is now half a second rather than 3/4 seconds, so they have a better chance of dodging the next bullet coming or getting away if you're just using it as kind of an initiation to slow the person that you're hitting. Cat nerfs to base MR off because she had 2 more than she was supposed to. I guess. Weird. Pretty big Maokai nerf here. His Q is kind of what you're leveling in lane, your bread and butter spell. It now goes up in mana cost per level, so a level 5 Q is going to be 65 mana as opposed to level 1 being 45. Still probably going to be what you level, but after you spam off a couple extra of those, you're going to really be feeling that extra 20 mana per time you use it. Probably, I mean, you get usually like an Iceborne Gauntlet or a Frozen Heart on Maokai anyway, but it's probably going to be wanting to get that a little earlier now, depending on how much you're using it. Also, the Sapling Tosses no longer deal damage when they land, so you can't really farm from range with it. You can, obviously, but you just got to time it for it landing and then doing the explosion. I honestly think that might make it easier to farm because the landing kind of screws up your farm a little bit. It was also not the most easy thing to time. But I don't think that's like an overly meaningful nerf, in my opinion, that they just don't deal damage when they land. This is more meaningful of a nerf. I don't know about this. I think Maokai's still really strong. Rise Q damage to flux targets is still the same at level 1, but it only scales up to 80% bonus instead of 100%, so some nerfs there. Armor pen items, basically it goes through here saying that they acknowledge that lethality is really strong right now, but they don't know what they really want to do to fix it. They don't want to just revert it. So for the time being, Ghostblade loses 5 lethality, so it's to 15, the same as all the other items. The way lethality works is just getting a large number of it makes it more effective, just because when you get someone's armor really low, it's really effective for them to build a little bit more armor. Just if you kind of think of like the way your armor works, taking 9 armor yellows, very inefficient as far as money-wise and as the trade-offs, but that extra 9 armor early on is far more effective in most situations than anything else you want just for early game durability, because 9 armor when you're just sitting on your base gives you a lot more damage reduction than say 9 armor if you're even at like 80 armor. Just the way that armor and magic resistance like scales on a curve. So just as getting a little bit of armor is really effective at low armor amounts, taking a little bit of armor off is also very effective to multiply and amplify damage. So lethality and armor pen, flat penetration in general, works a lot better when you're stacking a ton of it on itself. So losing this extra 5 doesn't seem like much, but when you're losing that extra 5, and now they're at, say, 20 armor rather than 15, that's actually quite a bit of damage difference. Black Cleaver, build path has changed. It doesn't build out of Cauliflower's Warhammer anymore. Builds out of kind of its old build path, Phage, Kindle Gem, and Gold. It's 200 more for the combination on paper, but the actual total buy amount is 3,000. It's just because the Kindle Gem's cheaper than the Cauliflowers. So it's 100 gold cheaper to buy. It gives you 100 more health, but it gives you 10 AD less. So it's kind of more positioned towards being tanky bruisery rather than being a damage dealer item. I mean, it's still going to work relatively the same. The armor stacks, the movement speed, the cooldown reduction all remains the same. But they also buffed the Last Whisper here as well. Keep in mind that this just lowers the armor for everybody on your team, whereas the Last Whisper lowers it only for yourself, and the Last Whisper's bonus armor reduction. The Last Whisper now gives 45% bonus armor pen rather than 30, just from the first like baby buy. It still costs 1,300, but it builds out of a longsword and a large amount of gold rather than a pickaxe and a small amount of gold. So it's basically like you have a longsword in your inventory. You decide, yeah, I need a Last Whisper. You can just buy it from that longsword rather than getting a pickaxe, which is pretty specific of an item. Longswords kind of build into everything. Pickaxe doesn't. Lord Dominic's here. The damage it deals based on how much extra health they have than you is 1.5% per 100 max health difference rather than 50. So it takes 1,000 health that they have more than you to scale the full efficiency rather than 500, which basically means if you're getting a Black Cleaver and you're getting this, unless they have a ton of health, that Black Cleaver's extra health that it gives you as well, your health pools are going to be pretty close together, so this extra damage based on the health missing is, or a health difference, sorry, isn't going to be coming into effect as much. But if an 80 carry buys this and like a bruisery character buys a black cleaver, they're still going to have their armor shredded from the cleaver, which is going to apply for the 80 carry, which is also going to be able to not be going into issues with the extra damage based on the health. So sorry, I don't think my screen region was at the right spot there. Basically, they're trying to make itemizing armor pen easier early for 80 carries, because 80 carries, everyone's kind of saying, oh yeah, they're having a really hard time in this season, so I guess they're trying to address their problems early rather than require them to scale like really long to be useful, because a lot of solo queue games are decided way earlier, if not like actual like game wise, like emotionally and mentally they're decided. People just kind of give up, even though there's a chance that the enemy team throws a pretty good one actually. Giant Slayer takes the same thing, 1,000 max health difference rather than 500. Knight's Vow got changed. It 20 armor boost on it, 20 armor nerf off the link, and the tether range is increased a little bit. Basically, it just gives you more when you're by yourself, but it balances out to give you the same amount when you're tethered, just so you're not as reliant on that person. Mastery changes here. Warlords got nerfed, 5% lifesteal. Fervor got buffed. The stack duration lasts 8 seconds rather than 6, so you have more of a window to get back into the fight without having to start over. The Ferocity tree here, basically all the tier 4 damage masters got nerfed. Bounty Hunter is stacks to max 5 rather than 7.5. Double-edged sword, basically back to what it was, 3% extra damage and 1.5% extra damage taken. And Battle Trance is also 3%, and it ramps up over 3 seconds rather than 5. So they're kind of all more in line with each other. Bounty Hunter still just a little bit ahead. The Cunning Tree, against champions below 40% health, deal 1% bonus health, 1% bonus damage, is now 0.6, so it scales up to a maximum of 3 instead of the 5 from before. Meditation now maxes at 1.25 rather than 1.5. Basically, they're not really. It seems like they're just toning back all masteries in general. I mean, Fervor got buffed, but for the most part, you can kind of see what they're doing. Max 6 lethality from precision rather than 8.5, and the way that I explained that lethality works earlier, that 2.5 lethality nerf will actually be felt. The flat magic pen is also per rank is 1.5 less on the per rank maxing. So the total at level 18 is now 6 lethality and 6 magic pen. Basically, you lost about 2.5 from either. And we can go back into the resolve tree here. Fearless Mastery, bonus resistances per level is now max 27 rather than max 36. I've never really taken this mastery, and I haven't paid attention to if people are taking it against me. I don't really know how effective it actually is, just because of that. It might be stronger than I was first giving it credit to, but it's really hard to take something like this when you could take the thing that reduces your summoner spell cooldown. I mean, this is always going to be working for you, the summoner spell cooldown, if you don't use them, and you don't need the cooldown after you've used them until it's back up anyway. It's not going to feel as important, but a lot of the times, like having your teleport up earlier, having your flash up earlier, can make that clutch play in that moment that you need, and actually be able to pull a really big play rather than just having this persistently always happening. I think it's 45 seconds off of a flash and a teleport, so it's up 45 seconds faster, so that's a large window of time that you wouldn't have had it, that you can still have it. So I really have a hard time not taking that mastery. Stealth Trap interactions. Basically, it's easier for melee champions to hit the traps. You don't have to get as close. You don't need to get within 50 units of the trap, which often, like, if you misclicked at all, like, you just ended up walking into it. It was really frustrating as a melee champion. Also, the trap revealing items, Sweeping Lens, Control Ward, Duskblade, they no longer disable traps. They disable wards still, but they don't disable traps. So like a Shackle Box, you could sweep it, or a Teemo Mushroom, you could sweep it, you could go up to it, and if you would normally have triggered it, you wouldn't while it's disabled. It still reveals them so you can clear them, but it doesn't disable them, so that you can just kind of ignore them in general. It's a really big shackle buff, honestly, because if he drops a box and you see him drop the box and you know you're going to have to walk over it, you can just put a sweeper or a control ward there to disable the trap and then just kind of ignore it completely. Ward reveal rewards. Wards now grant full gold both to the player who revealed them and the player who killed them. Bonuses don't stack if you revealed it and killed it yourself. Scribe's Bloom now tags wards for the reveal bonus, so if you're the jungler and you just smack that thing and then your mid laner clears the ward that you revealed, even if you don't go and gank, you get a little bit of gold for that. So a little bit more emphasis on the Scribe's Bloom control, if there wasn't enough already. If a ward is killed while revealed by two sources, the first source is the one that counts towards having the reward. Permanently visible wards, control wards, and farsight wards don't grant the reveal bonus. So it's kind of a little bit of subtle changes there. Catch-up experience. This is basically like when you're behind. A lot of the times, like if I get behind like on a tanky champion, especially top lane, because it's easier to make plays with your team. Say I just get like chain dove and ganked, or I'm just playing like an absolute like ape and I'm playing horribly and I die a bunch of times and I've put myself behind. For whatever reason I'm behind, I need a helping hand to catch up. My jungler can't necessarily help me. I can't really necessarily get help from my team, but I do have a teleport. We look for a team fight. I end up getting in there. Our team's doing well. I'm able to support them in any way I can. You will catch up faster and be rewarded for getting into these situations and actually being able to do stuff well behind. Your team it's basically on your team to help you out and be able to do it while you're behind and like be able to like kind of carry the fight. But if you're able to contribute and able to find that opportunity, you can catch up faster as well, and your team basically can kind of like put a leash around you and like drag you by your neck and force you to be useful. Earning a kill or assist while below your team's average level is now you get bonus experience. Teamwork bonus experience kicks in at just over one full level behind. Scaling with experience, not level, because you got to keep in mind it's different experience to reach each level. So if it was scaling with level, it wouldn't make sense logically. The bonuses scale slightly more aggressively at first, capping at 60% bonus experience at full levels difference. I mean, you got to be really behind for this to happen. But you also got to keep in mind, I'm just looking at it from my perspective as like a top laner. Sorry, I had to cough there. I managed to mute my mic in time. I'm looking at my perspective from a top laner, but this is a really big buff to supports where like you're always kind of behind the curve. You're the person that's making the team's average level lower usually. So if you're able to support and help out and get all those assists and do like your support lead jobs, you get a lot more bonus experience. So it really does suck playing a support, even if you're playing it well and you're like, well, I am 4 levels behind everyone in the game, and that's no fun. It'll let you be able to play the game more, but it also let you catch up if you've like screwed up or you've just been the victim of unluckiness in another lane. Underdog bonus experience. Bonus experience for kills and assists on higher level champions have been slightly increased at 4 levels difference. This adds about 10% more bonus experience. So if you're able to kill that person that's really far ahead, it doesn't rely on your team's average level. It's just based on your level versus theirs. You get some extra bonus as well. So, I mean, all of this is kind of like, unless you're looking at it from the support perspective, all of this kind of gives you bonuses and buffs from playing from behind and managing to pull stuff out. It's just unfortunate that when people get behind, they kind of just give up mentally, like I kind of mentioned before. So, this will end up probably being more towards the support's benefit. It's also going to make, it's going to punish playing complacently a lot more. If you get ahead, it's a lot easier to even out the game if you don't at least protect your lead and play safe with it. Turret First Blood, now total bonus gold is now 300 instead of 400. The local bonus gold is up to 300, but it no longer grants 25 gold to all teammates. So it doesn't give the gold to like everyone, but the local gold is still there. So a little bit of tweaking there. League client update. I haven't got the new league client yet, so I haven't really been following all of this stuff. I haven't looked if they can minimize chat yet. That was like my number one like kind of like peeve about it, is that you couldn't minimize your friends chat or your friends list while you're in the client. I found that to be kind of clunky and sloppy looking. So I mean, there's other things. I'm just waiting for it to be more polished before I switch over to it. And then all random IRF is out, I guess. A bunch of bug fixes here that I mean, I probably should go over these bug fixes. I just don't. There's probably like little bug fixes that I didn't realize were bugs, or things that I've known have been in the game for a while and they end up just getting cleared up. And then just it's fun to see kind of some of the weird interactions, but I'm not gonna do it today. I went too far over it. We're like at 20 minutes, right? Yeah, we're over 20 minutes now, so we'll finish it up here. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully, found that helpful. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. I do read the comments, as I kind of try to mention and say in every one of these videos. Just because I don't reply doesn't mean I didn't read it. So if you have something you want to say or suggestion or something you'd like to see in the future, make sure to put it in the comment section and I will see it. And if you're new to the channel and want to see more content like this, and hopefully I'll be putting out more just kind of recordings from stream, and then maybe have time to do even further content in the future here, make sure to subscribe to the channel as well. Social media and my stream link in the description as always. And other than that, take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time.